Hello and welcome. Well, what can we say after last week? A trip to the Brickyard. Well, it should have been relatively calm, a smooth affair. But well, it paved the way to drama, excitement, an absolute twist right at the end as well for the leader. You couldn't predict it at all. Over one bowl of speed, albeit on the road track last week, tonight it's the Cathedral of Speed. Of course, loved and adored by the Tifosi, the Italian fans. Of course, we head to Monza as the Apex Racing League GT3 trophy rolls into town. I'm Tim Cox, and as always, joining me on the sofas is Sam Fitzpatrick. Sam, what can we say? Last week, and then this week, two high-speed tracks. We had a lot of drama last week. It's surely going to be more of the same this week. I can't see any different.
Exactly, we didn't really know what to expect from Indianapolis. We haven't visited there too many times on even the old layout, let alone, of course, the new layout at that circuit. And it truly did deliver such a competitive field, Tim. As I've seen so many times, that first 15 minutes, absolutely frantic. The qualifying order, not necessarily representing the pace when it comes to the racing order. And we had, once again, 3 or 4 different winners. And as you were saying, that controversial end. Tobias Olsen would have been great to see him get his first win in this series after being so accomplished in single-seaters. Wasn't able to do it, but I'm sure he'll be more eager than anyone to get onto the top step of the podium tonight.
Well, definitely. I mean, talking of which, I mean, sim racing have been outstanding so far this season. But, of course, tonight, round 5 of the championship, Monza. I can't wait for this one, Sam. Coming back to Europe, it's like coming home in some ways for us. And, I mean, well, this place is steeped in history. Bit gutted that we're not running the combined circuit, but that's another bickering that we've been having in the office. But yeah, return back to Europe before we head back across the pond to Daytona next week, just ahead of the 24 Hours of Daytona.
Yeah, exactly. So going to be a really good preparation race. That'll be a 90-minute race, our only 90-minute race of the season. But yeah, Monza tonight after some already very high-speed circuits. The first half of this championship is absolutely wild when it comes to the top speeds that we are experiencing. And this Monza circuit, yeah, it's all about that straight line speed, that top speed, because heading down that start-finish straight, on the opening lap, it's going to be potentially chaotic, but on any lap, that turn 1 in particular, massive overtaking opportunity as you are absolutely thundering down there past the iconic paddock. And yeah, well, probably the biggest breaking point of the season, because not only is that turn 1 and 2 tight, it's narrow as well.
It definitely is, and that's what, well, from one tight compact chicane, it's then the race down to another one, De La Roggia.
Exactly, yeah, and that one's a little bit more open, a little bit of a gap between the two.
You say open, Sam. I mean,
in
come
comparison. And so, side-by-side racing, that's possible. We see a lot of overtakes around the outside, actually, at the De La Roggia, in real life, but also in the sim. But if you're the inside car, it's very much up to you whether or not you leave a car's way. You can either force that opponent off the circuit, force them to take the escape road and get a big slowdown, or you can be a little bit more generous and leave a car's width. And so I think that'll be something that we see. If drivers really want the position, if it comes down to last lap, they will not be taking any prisoners early on. They might be a little bit more liberal.
Of course, De La Roggia, the saying of in the European Le Mans series, a Porsche got sideways and then launched off a sausage curb last year, and this door went completely flying. A bizarre accident. Hopefully none of that today whatsoever. Then, of course, Lesmos, single line through there, but then it's another iconic run underneath the bridge, obviously with the oval going across the top, up towards Ascari, and another opportunity here for overtaking, Sam. Monza is just littered with them. It's great for racing, well, for us watching anyway.
Yeah, bar the De La Roggia and then the two Lesmos, it is just corner, very long straight, corner, very long straight, and Ascari is another opportunity, so narrow that you can't go, well, if you can go side by side, I guess you can go side by side really through any corner, but you're going to lose so much time if you're a driver behind a couple of drivers fighting into a Sky, you know that you're going to benefit a lot. And then of course you head into the Parabolica at the end of the lap, or Alboreto I believe it is now called, and racing around there super high speed. Got to make sure that you don't pick up an off track. Some of the drivers I'm sure will be pushing it when it comes to qualifying in a bit, and then of course ending the lap. So going to be a couple of races tonight, Tim, and a circuit that all the drivers know very well. I think they're going to be very comfortable coming to this circuit, a car track combination that everyone's familiar with.
Going to be definitely interesting to see. And as you mentioned earlier, in terms of the format, tonight it's Format B. That is 2 sprint races. First off, race 1 is 25 minutes long, and then the results from race 1 then form the grid for race 2. However, the top 8 are inverted, and that is a 30-minute long race. And last time we ran this format, Sam, things got a little bit chaotic, and it always puts the cat amongst the pigeons, and quite often we see an unexpected result and someone, have a real bumper day for points.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a real opportunity. It's a 10-car reverse grid when it comes to that race too, and so you don't necessarily need to be the absolute fastest. And I think around a circuit like this in Monza, potentially we could see someone surprising in that top 10, so we're going to be very much about racecraft rather than absolute raw pace, because we're going to see some draft trains. It's going to be about when you make your move, you've got to be tactical, you've got to make sure that you don't lose too much time when you make a move, and you've got to make sure as well that if you are overtaken, you don't lose too much time yourself and potentially lose the draft to the cars ahead. So it's much more of a strategy race than really any event that we've seen so far this season. So if we're going to see a surprise winner, I think honestly tonight it's going to be
night.
Yeah, could be.
Well, I'd love to see that, Sam. I mean, we'll find out. We've seen some real dominating displays so far this season from the likes of Pi, Olsen. I mean, I do wonder about Paul Lang, bit of an outsider. He had a cracking Indianapolis. Yes, he fell down through the order due to a spin on the first corner of the first lap, wasn't it?
Early, wasn't it?
And then fell to the back of the pack and made his way all the way up through to finish 7th in the end, I believe it was. So definitely one to watch, because he was showing some blistering pace. So whether we can continue that form across into today remains to be seen. But should we have a little look at the championship points just to refresh our memory a little bit, and let's kickstart things with GT3 Pro Isaac Arson leading the way. And what can we say about this guy? But, and this is the big but, isn't it, Sam? Herbie now's quietly been chipping away, and now he's got himself in times like top 3, and Pi has dropped down after another, a bizarre incident of hitting the curbs and going absolutely skywards over a sausage curb, and just put paid to his race last time out in America.
Yeah, Isaac's been super consistent so far this season. Matteo Fiolini, he was my pick for the championship. So under the radar, but just Mr. Consistent. And that's exactly what he did in his GTE championship a few seasons ago. Didn't win a round, but still went into the last round with a chance at the title. But there's some very quick drivers who have had one bad round, and there are 2 drop scores in this series, so you can afford 2 bad rounds. So I would say whilst Pi and Lang are a little bit further down the order, I'd say if anything they're already championship leaders, because we will have those drops. It'll be up to the likes of Arvidsson to perform well.
But in the case of Pi, he's already had his 2 bad results where he's had pretty much DNFs. It's all or nothing for him now. He has to crack on as we're starting to head towards the second half of the season, hammer down consistency results right near the top if he wants to be in there. It's, for me, all or nothing with him. Yeah,
the good news for him is that we've had a little bit of a change with the balance of performance recently, with some weight being added to the Lamborghini and the Audi, a bit of torque being taken away from the Ferrari. Meanwhile, the Porsche is as strong as it was before, and particularly at Daytona, it seems to be the car to go for, and I think just generally the Porsche seems to be the best GT3 car, which was not the case. Lots of drivers switching to the Lamborghini from the Porsche, which now has sort of backfired for them. So the likes of Herbinier and Pike, who have stuck with the Porsche, stayed loyal to it, they are really in the box seat, and I would say possibly the favourites for the championship right now, because it's unlikely that we're going to see any more balance of performance changes to the end of the season. In the Pro-Ams, it has been Mitchell Drysdale has just been in absolutely terrific form so far this season. Not a long way ahead of Andrea Nutini, who I feel like has also gone under the radar slightly, but Drysdale up in the top 10 on several occasions. Of course, could have had a brilliant Interlagos round a few weeks ago, Tim, actually, but got wiped out. But Indianapolis once again was up there, and yeah, that Pro-Am category, you know, constantly different drivers up at the top.
It is. It's each week, get a pack of cards, put the driver's name on it, throw them up in the air, pick one up, that's who's going to lead the championship, or even pick up the victory for that round. Complete cat amongst the pigeons, anything can happen, and I'm sure as we continue for the season, anything will happen for sure. Let's take a look into the AMs, and well, Gasparini are leading the way there. His fellow countryman Piazzese alongside him in second, and only 4 points separating them as well, Sam, just to mirror it. Incredibly tight between the two Italians, and then a slight gap to Schmerek, and then off two Brits of Russell, Collishaw, who's, if he didn't have bad luck, then he wouldn't have had any luck at all this season, and then Zanoni running out the top 5.
Yeah, no one's really dominated that AM category. Indianapolis was just madness with the AMs. It was very tricky to call, because there were a lot of pit lane starts. So a lot of the AM sites started, I think, in the top 20 positions actually. So a couple of them had very good qualifiers. And it just seemed like 20 minutes into the race, just everyone had problems. And it was really a case of who could have just one issue and not multiple and could come out on top. So I really don't think anyone's put their kind of foot on the AM championship so far. And, you know, we were just showing the top 6 out. I would say there's, you know, upwards of 10 drivers who could still win that title. So I think that one is possibly more open than anyone else. And I don't think we're going to get a good idea of who's going to win that AM title for a while. But North Sim Racing, to be fair, top 2 in the standings at the moment. In that one, they have done a very good job at getting those points so far.
I mean, as for the teams, well, I think it'd be no surprise whatsoever. We've talked about the consistency, haven't we, Sam, of this championship, and why it is so key to do well. And Sim Race Sweden, they just epitomise it. Of their 3 drivers, obviously 2 drivers score from each round towards the team's points, and I mean, I just can't see any. I know it's very early to call, Sam. We're only on round 5 of a 12-round championship, but I just cannot see anyone catching these guys.
Race Anywhere have been very up and down, haven't they? And been very much the opposite of Sim Race Sweden.
Round 1, in Spa. Look like, wow, these are the guys to watch, and then, well, it's just fallen by the wayside, and it's only really they've just started to recover. Yeah,
have won the last couple of races, which has been more positive for them. But just not necessarily having that number 2 driver always coming in and scoring the big points. Of course, Lang was able to get that second place out of the Race Anywhere drivers last time out, but still was a very much a compromised race for him. Sim Race Sweden, as you say, going to be tricky to catch because they don't drop many points. I mean, for those who aren't aware, 3 drivers per team, and it's the top 2 scorers who score points. And even with Olsen's problem last time out, they still finished 3rd and 4th. So, and that's with, you know, a couple of issues for them. I mean, I think it was Arvidsson, or actually Martinsson, apologies, in P4. Arvidsson having a bad day, Olsen having an incident right at the end of the race, and still getting 3rd and 4th, still scoring more points than anyone else. It's going to be so tricky to take them off their perch, as long as they keep this commitment to the series up for the entire championship. And Race Anywhere are going to really not be able to afford any bad rounds, because no drop scores in the team championship after all.
No, and I think it's going to take a massive second half of season of misfortune, realistically, for Race Anywhere. For Sim Race Sweden to be caught. And I hate to almost put a label on it this early on and curse of the commentator, etc., etc., but wow, they are looking incredibly tight. You see from the pictures behind us, qualifying just getting on the way. Of course, an open qualifying session like it is for all of our leagues here at Apex Racing Leagues, and obviously Apex Racing TV.
It's almost as though they want the draft, isn't it?
I don't know what gives you that impression. Is it the great big long snake that we're going to see all the way down the back straight? And yeah, plenty of weaving to get some heat into those tyres, but no overtaking. The person leading, I can't quite make out who it is. There's Pi, I believe, and well, they're the sitting duck, aren't they? They're punching a hole in the air for absolutely everyone behind, of which how many's there? 1, 2, 3. The camera's caught off a little bit, but I think there's about 20 cars all in one line there. Although they have separated out a little bit for now.
Yeah, and it's of course you need to make sure that you don't trip over each other, but it helps really to have teammates in this situation, to be able to work with your teammates, to know sort of where you are fast and slow, and so you can absolutely perfect that run. But then of course you can have a driver who makes a mistake right in front of you, and then that's the end of your lap. And of course it's an opposite, it is a very long circuit here. It's a very long lap. I think about 100 seconds it will take the drivers to be able to get around it, and so you don't get a whole lot of opportunities in this 15-minute session. But yeah, this is what I love about open qualifying. Lone qualifying, you know, we have it in the official series always, and it's always just go out and do your lap, whereas this is already strategy. You know, you tend to think of strategy coming in the race, but already this is perhaps the heaviest strategy moment of the entire day when it comes into qualifying.
I think, Sam, and correct me if I'm wrong on this one, by bringing this hypothesis into the equation, where obviously the drivers are they're going to be fueled up for 1, maybe 2 flying laps, let's say. Obviously they're going to have to come into the pits. Then obviously there's going to be some drivers who've done 2 hot laps, some have done 1, but ultimately you're then going to have a mesh, you know, where drivers are going to come out. They're all not going to all come back out together again, and are they going to, you know, could run the risk of being caught up behind another driver who's maybe that little bit slower than them, and well, at the end they end up losing time and wasting a lap.
Yeah, for sure. You got to make sure that you're behind the correct drivers. I'm sure we are going to see some issues when it comes to traffic in this qualifying session as well. So, yeah, shall we head across to it and yeah, see what the standings are?
I think so, definitely. We're going to head to a quick break now. We'll see you on the other side, where we will be live trackside. Don't go anywhere.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Hello and welcome back. Wow. Here we go. Qualifying well underway. At the moment, we saw him early on. It's Oscar Pie leading the way with a 1:47.05, and that is just over 2/10 Sam Fitzpatrick ahead of anyone who at the moment is Race Anywhere Sim Sports' Will Dames, who's currently second for Lamborghini. We've then got a Ferrari in third and an Audi in fourth. The top four different manufacturers. That's what we like to see.
Yeah, we were really bigging up Drysdale to potentially have a big meeting this time round. I think this might be delivering on it. I was a little bit skeptical when the Ferrari lost some of its talk in the recent BAP, but actually he seems to be really performing well. Look at Panini as well, up in second place in the Pro-Am Championship and second place as well in the Pro-Ams in this qualifying session, as Pi not on a flying lap at the moment, just trying to get himself into position for his next effort. Fulini doing well up there in 5th place, so yeah, the Lampos are doing fairly well, and yeah, nice smattering of Ferraris as well. A lot of the Pro-Ams who are running that category up there with the pros.
Well, it's not what you normally expect to see, is it? A couple of the Pro-Ams. And also, as you mentioned, Piaget's in 8th, an AM driver. Ooh, I get the feeling there's a bit of magic in the air, Sam. I don't know what it is. Monza just seems to bring it out. I mean, an AM in the top 10? It's possible, isn't it? And it's starting to happen. And if Piaget can attain that, his closest competitor, if we were to halt qualifying at the moment, obviously we're halfway through, 7.5 minutes out of the 15 complete so far, is Peter Lemkens of RP Motorsport, the Ferrari driver, second in the AM category, 23rd, Sam, 23rd. That's 14 places, 7 rows between those two drivers. If you want to try and win the AM category, that's the sort of depth that you're going to absolutely be wanting between yourself and your nearest competitor.
Yeah, really good news there for Piaget. And of course, the drivers do score points as well for their overall position. So for Piaget, it's not just a case of him being able to beat Lemkens today. He's also probably going to be able to put a fair few cars between, as you were saying, Tim, and that will give him a lot more points, potentially something like 25 more points, I believe, if it ended like this. So yeah, mighty force for Piaget, but still a long way to go for these drivers. And still, many of them on an outlap. Tobias Olsen recently moving up into 3rd position. He's looking strong once again after that great performance last time out at Indianapolis. And he is once again yeah, doing fairly well up there in 3rd place. But he's on that Oscar Pi, I think, is trying to set a quick one now. He's got a light draft. If he can make up some time through the sky, then he's going to have a very heavy draft.
That's exactly the sort of thing you want to have, isn't it? A nice draft. Just into the right place, onto the brakes, into Ascari, flick it left. Plenty of curve, trying to settle the rear end of that Porsche 911. And then just letting the car drift out wide on the exit of Ascari. The run down to Parabolica. Getting sucked along by that Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo in front of us. And then it's going to be onto the brakes. What sort of time? And that's another green sector from Pi. He goes faster again. He's already just over 2 tenths clear of his closest competitor. Is he going to go faster again? Let's find out together. He hugs the wall. He tries to set the shortest possible line, and he goes purple. And that is going to be an improvement. There you go. That's another 10th and, well, 1.12 seconds quicker than his previous lap. The gap now 0.348 ahead of Dames. Pi, well, is looking like in a different league of his own. But is this, I mean, this is the tricky thing, isn't it? Has the BOP gone a little bit too far, maybe? Or do you think we're just seeing the cream of the crop rise to the top here at Monza?
Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not entirely sure. We'll see maybe in a couple of weeks' time when we get some more circuits under our belt to see maybe if the Porsche is absolutely the best car. But Oscar's certainly putting it to its maximum right now. That is some gap at the top of the standings for him. Yeah, it'll be very tricky to beat. But of course, he absolutely nailed that draft, like that run through a sky. Brilliant. Wasn't compromised too much through Parabolica, and then even got a nice launch as well with the toe onto the pit straight. Still Drysdale top of the Pro-Ams as it stands. Piaget up there in 11th place, top of the Ams, as Lang moves up into 2nd place. Great effort there from the Race Anywhere driver, and of course that puts himself not alongside Dames, but next to Dames, at least 2nd and 3rd on the grid as it stands. And just a reminder as well, of course, Pi has won 2 races so far this season, but neither of them have come from the top 5 on the grid. When he did take a pole position last time out, it went very badly for him. So don't jump to conclusions too quickly when it comes to Pi taking pole position.
Don't you want some? So we watch Fellini right now, the Italian, currently 8th. It's Isaac Iverson, our championship leader. He is only in 9th as Drysdale goes quicker to get up on the second row of the grid, 3rd overall. We know this pace within Mitchell Drysdale. But I mean, surely. I know there's timing in lap right, getting in the draft at the right time. But wow, he is putting in the qualifying of his life right now as the American.
Yeah, he's really looking like a pro. But again, I'm thinking back to all these good qualifying performances many of these drivers have had, and of course Drysdale, remember how good he was at Interlagos, and it went all so badly. So
Well, who could forget the big wreck of Interlagos?
Yeah.
Down the Retta Reposta.
And of course he was right at the front of all those, one of the first drivers affected, but up in P3 to be fair. Percentages wise, you're much less likely to get in a crash. Here comes Will James trying to get a draft. I think that's Paul Lang actually just in front of him, and he's trying to get a perfect run now to the start finish line. A good sector 3, but none of the personal best. So if this is an improvement, it's going to be a minor one as he crosses the line. His final sector as well wasn't particularly strong there, Drysdale, and he'll have to go again. He actually was 3/100ths of a second slower that last time round, and yeah, deciding to so he's still got one more lap, but now he hasn't got a just. So I seriously doubt James is going to be able to get up there. We are getting into the closing stages, and as they always say, as those 15 minutes are up, that is it. You cannot complete the lap that you start.
AMS update. Second place in class is now 16th overall. That's Jeremy Rover, the Belgian driver. Another Ferrari. Ferrari seems to be having a bit of a resurgence, going well around here. And that's 2 cracking results, to be fair, from the AM drivers. 2 cracking performances from the Pro-Ams in the form of Drysdale and Piaggini. And then we've got the likes of Florian Renault. Way down at 18th overall, 11th in class. PJ Clayson's not having the best of timing, qualifying well off the pace. He's 12th right now in class, 29th overall. This is Andrea Nattini heading across the line. And that's an improvement from the Italian in the Audi. 148.07. Tying time-wise with Gabrielli, who is currently 9th. Well, I say that, Nattini just bangs in the quicker one there. Goes quicker again. And that really launches him up for this then. Well, I would class it. Well, Adam Hedgecock's, it's been a bit of a mixed bag for him, hasn't it? That's the best way of putting it. Where he seems to be involved in these battles, but he goes incredibly well at the early stages of the races, and then it seems like he seems to spend the whole race from that point onwards having to defend for his life.
Well, yeah, he's always around P20. It's hard to learn. So he's always in P20 with 2 Italians ahead of him, 2 behind him. It's genuinely the rule with Andrew Hedgecock. He's currently actually 27th and only 1 Italian ahead of him. So actually it's quite an unusual position that he finds himself in, but still trying to improve. Recently had an improvement for Salvatore Trani. He's up to 16th position. But you can see on the times how most of the drivers back to the pits. Good time for, I think that was Ciccoli, who I think crossed the line right at the end and may have just gone up a couple of places up into P9. So yeah, nice effort from the Italian right to improve at the end. But well, that is qualifying complete, Tim, and we can go through our good for race 1 of the evening.
We can indeed. Oscar Pye starts from pole with Paul Lang joining him on the front row. Then it's the Pro-Am driver starting from 3rd, second round of the grid. Drysdale, he has Will James for company. It's an all sim race Sweden esports row 3 with Olsen lining alongside Matt Martin. Piaggini, 2nd in Pro-Am, 7th overall. Great qualifying from him. He's got Fellini alongside him on row 4. Ciccoli, another Italian, making it 3 inside the top 10 has Isaac Arvidsson, our championship leader, all the way down in 10th. From where he's in 11th on row 6 with top AM qualifier Piazzese in 12th. Nattini has Utilitas for company, and then it's Massiansons and Trani, and then Thomas Yaz. He's got Jeremy Rover, who's 18th, both on row 9, and he's 2nd in AM. Really strong qualifying from the AMs here. There's Jensen Anderson, he's got Florian Renault for company on row 10, row 11. Bizagalia as Gabrielli alongside him, and all Italian row there. Then Gus Franken alongside, well, his fellow Benelux competitor, Derek Brysons. Neil Cooper is alongside Gasparini. Hedgecock, a bit lower than your anticipated 20th, Sam. He's 27th with Peter Lemkins with company with James Hall, and PJ Clayson's rounding out your top 30 in row 15. Row 16 is Pedro and Engelhardt, Burmans and Kliss alongside one another, and then we've got Kukorkas and Schwartz taking up to 36th with what would be row 19 being Paul Collershot and Daniel Zanon. These are drivers who did not set times in qualifying. Row 20, Mazmecki and Moliord, Philip Russell and Federico Elli lining up alongside one another on the last complete row with Felipe Puccetti in 43rd. There we go. Timed perfectly there, hey Sam. That's the Porsche 911 safety car pulled away.
And the admins very conveniently having the right amount of drivers as well for this race. Perfectly timed that all. And now we're heading down the back straight. I wonder if he's thinking back to that Indianapolis round, honestly, because in the end there was nothing he could do to when it came to Indianapolis last time out. He took some curb. It wasn't any more curve than anyone else. I don't think it was any more curve than he'd taken in the past, and unfortunately iRacing affected him a lot. I guess there's no point in thinking about that, but I wonder if he's that much more desperate to get this race win, because like you were saying earlier on, he can't afford any more bad rounds.
Because of an old man now, Sam. That little whippersnapper is Oscar Pye, the VRS. So Kawanda junior driver, he'll be brushed off, phased in, on to the next one. He's fine. He takes control of the pace. Safety car, well, he's backing up the pack. Safety car's cleared off into the distance. What's he going to do? Is he going to go early? Is he going to leave it to the line? Oh, he's going early. He's going early as we go green and we go racing for the first time this evening from Monza in round 5 of the ARL GT3 trophy. And we're 2 wide, we're 3 wide, we're 4 wide in the background there on the run down to turn 1. Is there going to be accidents? There's jostling for positions from the 2 Sim Race Sweden Lamborghinis there in the background, but Pye's controlling this round. That's Dame's round. Oh, no, sorry, it's Paul Lang. That's Lang around this course. Oh, there's a big car park emerging, and there is millions and millions virtual pounds worth of damage as there's cars absolutely everywhere. But Dames, Olsen, Fulgini, Isaac Arvidsson, he's made up 5 places on the opening lap. Nattini, Drysdale's dropped, he was a big casualty, he's dropped down 5 places as everyone's still making their way through there. Salvatore Pusese still leading Am, he's 11th overall. Rover second in class with Lemkins third. Oh, Pro-Am is Nattini, Drysdale, Yatsorta, 7th, 8th, 9th respectively overall with Pye, Dames and Olsen still your top 3 overall and in Pro. Kaskarokas there down through the field, but Lang down 30 places, 32nd. Pye leading the way, and he's already pulled out a second, Sam, and we're only a minute into these 25 minutes of racing. Yeah, breaking the draft is a big thing around this circuit, and I think Pye has already done it. It was a shame, second and third, I think the driver on the outside, not quite sure who it was, whether it was Lang or not. Maybe just kind of squeezed, I think, on the inside. Then I think it was Drysdale on the inside, making contact. I'm sure we'll get a replay of it later on, but at first glance, honestly, it looked like a racing incident. And once you have a collision like that right in the front here at Monza, the rest of the field has no much of a chance. Honestly, I'm surprised we didn't see more carnage. But a few drivers having to pick up, so does a few drivers getting big time from that. Isaac Arvidsson was one of them. 5 places gained, and he's looking at Matteo Fulini. These 2 top 2 in the championship, remember, yet to take a race win so far, I believe, are either of them. But here comes Arvidsson. He's looking much quicker than what his qualifying pace indicated, and he is up into 4th position. But he did fall away as last race went on, so he will need to be looking after his tyres most likely. Panini, meanwhile, he's down 10 places with some damage as well. They've got a slightly slow car of Trini just ahead of them, but Panini does well there, getting his car through into 17th place, but he will be very slow down the straights. Oh, there's contact in the background there, Sam.
Gasparini.
He's gone round and, well, he's purchased a one-way ticket in the barrier. I think he might have been assisted there. Just looked that way because he was driving straight and then all of a sudden exited stage right. So we see cars were scattered around, bumping across the curves right now. Zagalia in with that bent rear wing on the Audi R8. But let's take a look back at the start. We can see what happened. Wow.
What's drive they'll find alongside enough. So Warren putting his car down the inside because Langley didn't feel safe because Lang went for the apex.
Well, Lang, I mean, one of those things, isn't it, really? And racing incident, if you want to call it that, but it was, well, two drivers with a lot to lose, really, and they have lost out. Well, I say lost out. Drysdale's still leading Am, but has lost 4 places in the process. Lang, one of the big losers. Also, Martinson, too. He got caught up in that accident. Yori Martinson, he got caught up too, the pro driver. So the pros, the big casualties out of this one. Right on board with PJ Clayson. Talking of pros, and he's trying to pick his way through the pack. That's Jensen Adriansen's drivers right now. And did they bump there? It's definitely getting a little bit too close for comfort as everyone jockeying for position. It's like being out on the oval this, Sam. They're trying to move to the high line, the low line. They're trying to pick ones moving faster right now and come onto the brakes into turn 1. Down through the gears, through Retafilio. There's one of the Porsches there. That's Clayson's just getting a bit squirrely on exit, and it feels like he's just hemmed in. He's like a caged lion right now, Sam, just waiting to be released so he can go off at the road and make some progress.
Yeah, Clayson's always struggles when it comes to qualifying pace, it seems, but when it comes to the races, he is far more competitive. Had pulled off a lot of overtakes back at Indianapolis, as we got the Gasparini crash a little bit earlier on, and this, well, was he assisted? He thought he may have been hit him, and he certainly was. Whether or not that was Gasparini's fault or not is another question, but there for sure was contact.
Unbelievable, we're already at 5th race distance. 5 minutes complete out of the 25. Pye leads from Dames Olsen, top 3. And then top 3 in for 7th overall, 8th and 10th is Drysdale Natini and Thomas Yaz. Piazzese 11th, Brover 13th, and then Lemkins 20th overall. Big gainers, big losers right now out on track. It is all or nothing pretty much out there. This is Giuseppe Muea there. Pizzagalia.
In Pisa, Moya seems to have lost 4 places as Lang continues to make his way back up through the order. But yeah, Moya, who finished P3 then back at Spa in round 1, really hasn't been able to back up that performance ever since. But he dropped out, but he hasn't got much damage, so that'll be good news for him. Look at the weaving there from Lemkins. That was a late move, I think, and Hall will be fairly furious with that one. And these guys will not be leaving each other any room, I'm sure, if they do go alongside at the second chicane. It seems like Lemkins was struggling a lot down the straights. He'll need all the straight line speed he can get in order to hold on to that place as we tune in on our P2 fight. Pye still leading by 1.2 seconds. He's not pulling away, but in a sprint race like this, he doesn't need to. He should be safe, even at this distance, with the consistency we know he has. And meanwhile, it's Olsen who's trying to get past Dames.
Seems to have settled down a little bit, Sam, which always worries me. Just beware, just sitting the fastest lap of the race. We're down in 8th, Pye. Well, not being aided by the slipstream right now out in front of him. Punches his own hole, but he has broken the toe to Dames, who's got Olsen all over his gearbox right now. Lamborghini's all the way for the 4 positions behind Pye. Which Corby and the Audi is further down for the field. Jensen Adriansen trying to make progress, but he's got Clayson's tucked up right behind him. This is where it gets a little bit spicy. You need to have eyes in the front and back of your head to try and pick your way through this one and separate how you can get through, but prevent the overtake from happening behind. As we see Clayson just dips out of the slipstream there. Well, they're going 3 wide through Parabolica, and how did they get through that in one piece, Sam Fitzpatrick?
I do not know. This is a continuation. Remember, we saw that defensive move earlier on in the lap from Lemkins on Cooper, apologies, on Hall, and Cooper has been able to get involved in this one, and I do not think, I think Hall is fairly furious right now. He's been able to get himself back up into 22nd place. Here he goes now on Lemkins, and it might be 2 for the price of 1. Excellent work there from Hall, but he's pushing it with the off track there. Might well get a slowdown because he took a lot of curb. I think he is being able to accelerate cleanly. He should be fine on that occasion. Adjinson's meanwhile trying to get past Gabrielli. Remember, Adjinson's running up in P6 at Indianapolis most of the time, and so he had an absolute mare second 2/3 of the race. He is up to 18th place, but Gabrielli's trying to stay in there. Now we go alongside through the chicane. You can do that. They didn't execute it brilliantly, and benefiting from all that was PJ Clayson's. He's up into 18th.
Oh, he picked up a 2-for-1 deal there, Sam, didn't he? A lovely little move, opportunistic as ever. Clayson's and that Porsche. I said to the two Italian manufacturers, the Lamborghini and Ferrari, well, if you want to battle it out, I'm heading through. Don't mind me, I'm coming past. Talking of Porsches, well, they're making progress in the latter, well, it's progressing towards the latter stages of the race. That's Moya trying to make it more places yet again. You saw Tissantrani right behind him, the 2 Lamborghinis. Moya's got Braver, he's climbed some places, hasn't he? He's picked himself all the way up to 12 overall. Still second in class, but more importantly, Piazzese, who is the leader in class, is now directly in front. Well, I say directly in front of him. There is a 2-second gap between the pair of them, but in terms of the standings, on top of one another right now. And those two can afford to go at it without affecting themselves in their, finishing on the podium within their class, because Lemkin's all the way down in 22nd. Although Moyes just played it past the waiver. So we look back from Dames at Olsen, who's gone a bit quiet on him, because I don't know, Sam. It seems like he's just backing off and just biding his time at this stage of the race.
Yeah, I think that may well be the case. As they get down into the chicane one more time, placed up there in 29th position, having a decent run of it at the moment in the Porsche. But yeah, I think also might be happy quite to take P3. Honestly, I don't think he's going to fight it too much. He knows that that's a position higher when it comes to race 2, and there's not a whole lot of points necessarily, so unless he has an easy chance maybe in the last few laps, I don't think he's going to be doing anything on Danes. I think he'll be happy to beat the likes of Fulini and Ciccoli and Arvidsson behind. Arvidsson actually not having much pace once again. Olsen, the fastest of the Simrace Sweden drivers, and Arvidsson after that strong start, remember, actually falling back behind Fulini. We saw him get past Fulini earlier on, but he jumped behind both Fulini and Ciccoli since that move earlier on, albeit they are all getting back close to one another. Reminder, top 10 get inverted for race 2, so currently Thomas Diaz would be on pole position, but with the pace that Moya is delivering, it might not be easy for him to hold on.
I'd love to see one of the AM drivers get inside the top 10, Sam. Get to 10th, start on pole for race 2. Hello. That could be a little bit interesting. We look back from Ciccoli. There's Arvidsson stalking us like a wolf. Ciccoli, the proverbial Italian sheep, and he's going to have a lunge up the inside as he go wide down into Retafilio, and everyone just backs out, gets himself in an all-ear fashion.
That was possibly the most Fulini move I've ever seen.
Well, yes.
Safe percentages. He's down to 6, but he was just not having any contact there, and that's why he's up in 2nd place in the championship.
Two very similar liveried Ferraris right now. That makes it more interesting for us commentators. So that's Dirk Bouts past AM driver Goose Rankin. Ferrari drivers, that's over 24th, although it is not quite done and dusted, because Boot's not getting the best exit to Boot off the corner. And it's ahead through Curva Grande, through De La Roggia. This is surely going to be the place taken straight back from Franken. And there we go. Ooh.
Come on, don't reverse. Don't reverse. Please don't reverse. Oh, a damaged model.
There we go. There goes the front bumper, falling off and going, no, oh, I've had enough. I'm off.
There goes Engelhardt. Yeah, that was quite good, actually. I'm impressed by that damaged model. He kind of drove over it, didn't he? But that was realistic, I think. So, yeah, kiss with the wall. And, well, maybe more like a punch, and gets away with I don't think enough damage for him to have to come back into the pits later on. Here comes Musumeci. He is next on Franken now, who has really been in the war so far, Franken. He's not making many friends out there, but he has lost a position. Musumeci up 15 places, starting from the pit lane, and he is getting himself into a decent position right now. Of course, it's so important to make up places in race 1, because unless you're in the top 10, wherever you finish in race 1 sets you a good position for race 2. So it's really fundamental. As well, we've got a move just behind with Frankie. I think he's going to lose out to Collar Short as well. And there's also a move, I think, for Arvidsson on Tricody. Arvidsson up into P4 now.
Well spotted there, Sam. Well spotted. And Musumeci, highest climber. He's 15 places. Closest would be Federico Ellie. He's had a very quiet race for 3D Rap Squad Corsa, and the Porsche, she's up at 13. But we're seeing Gabrielli right now, since having a right go, and actually just out onto the gravel there, and that's going to compromise him on the exit. So we head through Curva Grande down to De La Roggia. But Gabrielli on the inside through Curva Grande, but he's going to be on the outside. Windscreen wipers on for Hall. He's giving it everything. And onto the brakes, but just not quite as good on the brakes, the Lamborghini compared to the Ferrari, but a better exit. I mean, squeezed to the inside, and there's jockeying for a position behind two between Cooper and Musumeci. And Musumeci having to defend there strongly. But Lemkins, wow, saw them completed that to me.
Yeah, furious racing there. I feel like that was getting a bit personal. Here comes Piazzese and Moya. Now, Piazzese really let Moya go. Let Moya go and go attack the cars ahead, because this is about to for P11 or P12. But what could happen is that Moya could potentially catch up to the cars ahead, cause a bit of disruption, and potentially give himself the reverse grid pole. Moya moves up into 11th place.
Let's take a little look at this overtake coming in. This is Dames versus Olsen.
For P2.
Oh, James just took a bit too much of the curb there, and Olsen says thank you very much, I'll have that from you. And slides up into P2.
I said that Olsen wouldn't take P2 unless that was an easy move, and that was an easy move, so he'll take that one. He's not going to stamp on the brakes to keep P3. I think Dames might be a bit more open to take that one. Both in the championship hunt still, but it hasn't been a great start to the championship for either. They've simply still got a chance, however, after some top 5 positions for Dames with a couple of race wins. Oh, sliding through. Brilliant stuff there from Lemkins. And once again, he's made another enemy. That time, it was with Neil Cooper, who I think will be frustrated with that one. But honestly, Lemkins had his car alongside all the way. And yeah, took a tight as line as possible. It's just too narrow around that part of the track.
A little bit further down is on Hedgecock. He's about 20th.
Yeah, what's going on?
With Birman's behind him to Birmanas. Michel Gabrielli, someone who's had a bit of an eventful race, Sam. And amazingly, has only climbed 2 places in the process for Northamptonshire Racing in the Ferrari.
Had an awful previous lap, didn't he? He was in the 50s on the last lap. Not as bad as Lemkins. But apparently set his fastest lap of the race, a personal best. I'm not sure why it's going up with that. But yeah, he was in the 51s for Lemkins. Here comes Tortoise. Wow, this is very competitive here. He gets getting past De Boiver at the moment.
This could even be a free wide. No, it's not. They all think twice about it as we head through Parabolica. But they're side by side. They're well, they were behind. So they all file in right now. Trani and Vishni right in, and you can throw the proverbial blanket as they're pushing and they're bump drafting down the start-finish straight to clear people, working not just as a pair but as a trio there. I think you see it all. And then you see that. That's a very different approach, and well, it's the common consensus to try and get themselves closer to Piazzese and just drag themselves up. And can they do it? Time is against them. 8 minutes left here from Monza in race 1, and Trani defending now. That's from Pugini right behind him. And also trying to make a move on Tortoise too. It's close in the midfield once again, as ever. Pizzagalia. He's had racing over the reds, it looked right now, Sam. The Audi trying to make a way through, but roadblock between two.
Oh no, Charlie off the track.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's a shame. Charlie having a very good time of it earlier on, remember. Started up in, well, certainly in 16th place, but gained a lot of places at the start. And the absolute motorsports ace-lift driver finding himself deep in the gravel. Bison's continue to gain places. Up 15. Come on, PJ. If PJ actually, like, did qualify, he'd be a prime candidate for a reverse grid pole. As he launched himself over the curves. Porsche are very happy to accept them, unlike Oscar Piast's Porsche back at Indianapolis. Olsen has been caught, so Dame's with that mistake earlier on, remember, but he's actually being given a bump chance, so Dame's not willing to get past right now. He knows that if he tries to go for a move, they might fall into the pack behind, because that gap is very much maintaining between P3 and P4, as it has been for the entire race. Very much even pace all the way down from second place down to 6th place, and so he's just going to leave it till the last lap of the race most likely before launching his attack. Oh, also,
he's closing, isn't he? Suddenly thinks twice about it, does Dames. Backs out of it for now. What is going on? Pi is just walking away and away and away. Now 4.5 seconds clear. And Olsen and Dames are no slouches whatsoever, Sam. No slouches.
No, they were very strong back at Indianapolis, obviously. So, yeah, they are two of the best drivers in the league, and we haven't seen this level of dominance from Pi, because he did win at Red Bull Ring. He won race 1 at Interlagos as well, but not by this pace advantage. And honestly, I think he's the favourite for race 2 coming up. He wasn't able to do it at Interlagos, so actually Dames was able to beat him in race 2 at Interlagos. So Pi looking to avenge that, albeit he's still got 5 more minutes in race 1, so he still needs to make sure that he consolidates that one. I almost accepted you earlier on, Tim, when I saw Giuseppe Moya almost into 10th place, and that would be a reverse good pole. Moya's pace has been absolutely exceptional, as Gus Franken, more trials and tribulations for him. Well, that's a clean move there. He's up into P29 is Franken. He's just got past Purdue, and Chris fancied going through as well.
The race on towards Ascara.
Moya's up to P10. Reverse good pole.
It is, he's... Oh, Dames has made it back past Olsen. And there's the tail end. So we come on to the brakes, but that was all done in the slipstream. Great stuff there. Regulation move down into turn 1, done by Dames, up into 2nd, reclaims the place from Olsen. Still, they continue to take time away from Iverson and Tricoli and Fugini and Drysdale. These two pushing each other along to the absolute max right now as T4 calls Shaw. VR on. Full attack mode engaged in that Ferrari. Back in his Ferrari. His beloved Ferrari in that iconic orange.
This is when you want VR. You can see Paul just occasionally looking across where his rival is, looking out the side mirror. And, well, now he'd need to crane his neck to a degree that is unhealthy to anyone bar a bar now, because he's ahead. He's in 23rd place.
Gus Franken will not lead this race alone again.
Oh, so Cliss has just got past him as well. Paul's having a great race, great drive so far from PJC. Also, I believe a subscriber to Apex Racing Academy, one of the sponsors for this broadcast. Shouts out to them, providing data packs for many different cars on iRacing, whether that's GTs, single-seaters, prototypes, even rallycross cars. Check out apexracingac.com to get setups and group coaching sessions, also solo training sessions as well from some of the absolute best drivers in all of iRacing. Check out apexracingac.com for that. There's a link in the description below.
I'll go with that one, Sam. Some cracking sets provided by the team here, Apex Racing team, and Apex Racing Academy too. They get involved with their drivers, making the sets. Congratulations to them, and yeah, exceedingly good value for money. Salvatore Piazzese, how did he start? So he's only at 1 place, amazingly. So Chiaz are right behind him, and always baffles me, this one, Sam.
Olsen. Oh, he's made a mistake. That's where he gained second place earlier on. But this time, he's gone from third down to 7th. I think there seemed to be some smoke, and he's got some damage as well on the left side of that car. So I think he's... Well, I wonder if he's maybe done the same thing as Dames did. Sure, we'll get a replay soon. Fulini up into 5th place, and Drysdale after that awful start, remember, where he dropped a few places, had contact with Paul Lang. He is up to 6th place, and might even go one better by the time that checker flag is waved.
It's almost got a bit of a feel like a bit of a war attrition, this one, but yeah, it's only 25 minutes long, and we've only got, what, minute and 50 seconds, bit of change left over here from Italy. This is how you want to be doing it, and well, pushing each other along. I mean, I'm not sure what for right now, but Meki pushing along Collishaw.
I don't think I've ever seen so much bump drafting in a GT race, honestly, Tim.
Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy.
Ooh, some more issues actually. Arvidsson and Tricoli are going at it. Arvidsson, what a move that is, round the outside of Tricoli. I think, if anything, I think he's just defending that move, if I recall correctly. I think Arvidsson was ahead previously, but he's having to work ever so hard to keep the keep the Audi behind right now, as again they go alongside. Fantastic run, and this is the corner that you can go on the outside as the lights beam on here at Monza all of a sudden, and he is staying ahead just about Arvidsson. Good defensive moves there, but has invited 3 additional cars into this fight, and Olsen, after that mistake earlier on, that damage is not costing him. He's going alongside Matteo Fulini. Fulini, we know, will leave space for his rivals. We've seen him go alongside Arvidsson already so far today. Olsen round the outside at Lesme 2. That is an exceptionally rare move, but the Swedish driver, the 2-time F3 champion, has pulled it off.
This is Olsen. Let's see. We're going to see his crash, Sam. It looks... that
was unlucky, wasn't it?
Wow, he did well to get away with that one. And I think he did get away with that one, personally.
That was just an odd one, how he actually took less gravel than Dames, I think. Well, and yet it was just that amount of gravel, and the weight transfer of the car was enough to spin it around as the checker flag is out.
Oh, wow. Spotted there, Sam. Wow, spotted. Pye takes the victory. Dames 3rd, Adrisson's 4th, Drysdale's going to win Pro-Am.
And Olsen held on against Fulini, 600ths.
Signaling for a few drivers come across the line. Piazzese come home in 12th, great result for the AM driver. Thomas Yaz, 11th, 3rd in class, 3rd in AM. It is, Piscagalia in... position was he in?
And Schwartz as well, just going past Collishaw right at the end. We didn't really speak about Schwartz, but he started from the pit lane because of a penalty, and he was able to get back up into 23rd place, so good effort for him. He escalated half the field.
Do you think that was a wise move there, Sam, to start from the pits?
Well, he had to. He had, I think he was had a penalty, but well, if you're maybe Paul Lang, I think in hindsight probably was the wise idea, because
just a bit,
that one went very badly for him.
Wow. Let's wait for the last few drivers to cross a line, and we will be able to be classified results after what has been some cracking racing from race 1 already. We've still got another race to go, and the good news is it's even 5 minutes longer than race 1. And as Sam mentioned, top 10 inverted to form the grid for race 2, with obviously everyone else behind just filling in where they finished in the race. Ooh, here we go, Sam. Here we go. We can get you some classified results any second right now. Oscar Pye leads the way with Dames 2nd. Isaac Arvidsson 3rd. That's Tricoli with top AM driver Mitchell Drysdale, with Olsen, Foligini, Natini 2nd in AM, then it's Muir 10, and obviously those in being inverted. 10th through is 1st is 10th, and everyone in between sort themselves out. With Thomas Yaz 3rd in Pro-Am, great result for the Frenchman there. Salvatore Pizzese, 12th, second, no, winner in our apologies there. You taught us because Gini, Hutchinson's, De Bueva, Bizzagalia, 18th. Let's wait for the page to flick over. There we go. Trani 19th, Gabrielli 20th, Limpkins, Hall, Schwartz, Collar Short, Cooper, Ellie, Lang in 27th, and then it is Meki Cliff. Excuse me, it's Frankham in 30th, and then it's Pedro Gasparini, Hedgecock, Cook, Kaskarokas, always catching me out that one. Russell, Engelhardt, and Puchetti, Dirk Bouts, Biramanans, Moljord, Zanon, and Mathiasson rounding out your grid.
Only 2 retirements there, and only 3 drivers off the lead lap. Tim, I'm a little bit surprised, but the drivers do of course have a fast pair, so it did help them get back out into the race. But we'll have a quick break then for the stream, but we'll be back with you in just a couple of minutes' time for race 2 of the evening.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Well, Sam, I would ask what your favourite moment was from race 1. I don't think that's physically possible to try and pick out because there was so much happening.
Yeah, I think my favourite moment was when, well, yeah, it's difficult to call. I think the battle that Fulini was in particular was very good with the Sim Race Sweden drivers, first with Arvidsson and then with Olsen in those closing stages. And, well, he'll be starting up in P4 for this race, but it'll be Florian Rennie. He is starting on pole position ahead of Giuseppe Moya. Moya was so quick in that race 1. Honestly, probably second favourite, I think, for this race, because he was lightning. Once again, poor qualifying, but fantastic when it came to the race. Nutini, top of the program, since Fulini, Olsen, Drysdale, Tricoli, Arvidsson, Dames, and race winner from race 1, Oscar Pye. Of course, Dames, the other multiple race winner so far this season. He's got 2 wins. Pye now with 3 wins to his name, and they'll be starting alongside each other on that 5th row. Good. The rest of the order, the exact same as the finishing results of race 1.
What's the worst that can happen by flying opposite a foe? Will it be clean? I'm not sure. Although they may give each other mutual respect, you never quite know, do you?
It's an odd one because whilst they've won most of the races so far this season, they're not at the top of the championship. Like, they've got a lot of other drivers to worry about. I mean, Pye could well be at the top. He will probably apply one of the drop scores to the standings once this race is complete, or once this meeting is complete, and then that will really help those 2 drivers. As we pull away, it's getting a little bit dark here at Monza. Sunset should occur about 5 minutes from the end, 10 minutes from the end of this race. And so it'll be getting a bit dark by the end, but it shouldn't be too bad. They've got headlights, and well, just like very hopefully picturesque in the Italian countryside.
That was such a suck up and put up type comment, Sam.
Yeah.
You know, unlucky. Make the most of it. Enjoy yourselves. You need to have fun. Front end of the grid dominated by Porsche. Midfield dominated by Ferrari. It might have a bit of extra weight on that Ferrari, but it is still incredibly well. Sorry, the Porsche That's just been quick anyways. Porsche 911 safety car controlling the field. Following Renault on pole, he would control the pace. Wow, a lot closer to the safety car compared to last time around, but he gets the launch, goes early. As we are green and we are racing for the second time here this evening, and already see Jefferson Mayer just pushing along. Mazzini, it's close. Will they learn the mistakes of the last race where there was a big incident, a big shunt? Okay, the top 5 made it through. 6, 7, a wiggle in the background there, dipping the car to the...
I thought the Sim Race Sweden drivers might come to them. There is a collision later on. That's Trani. I think Lemkins as well was involved in that one. Now they're spinning around the circuit. Mollyord, I think, as well got involved in that. But it looked like for a minute we were going to have Olsen, Arvidsson and Pai all crash into one another, but somehow they kept it together. Again, the Sim Race Sweden drivers coming close. Pai is also right in the wars there. He's having an absolutely epic battle with Davide Tricoli, but I think he kept him behind, so great work there for Pai to keep all 4 corners of that car on through those first 2 corners.
Here we go, minute in. Renault leads from where Fulgini. Nitini, good start from him. Maintaining, well, in that second row, if it was the grid, 4th overall. But Thomas Yaz as well, the rear end of his car's got a brilliant view. She taught us, he's on the outside. Yeah, Glayson's jockeying position.
He's ran, you can see that.
There's a big incident into Ascari. Oh, Glayson's. It's gone. It's over.
We saw him taking a lot of curb there. That time he didn't want to take that much curb, but once you go over those curbs, you knew from that moment, going alongside there was absolutely no way he could control that car, and a crash was absolutely inevitable. Meanwhile, at the front, Moya, can he deliver that pace that he has from race 1? Pai has made some progress, but interestingly, he's just giving Rene a bump chart. Go for it, Giuseppe. I'm surprised he hasn't just gone for it here, because he managed to overtake Florian early on in race 1, as that's the contact there with Pai, making contact with, and that was Olsen who spun round, so Olsen making contact with another car just in front of Pai, I think, albeit that he was next to Arvidsson. So who did he make contact with?
So, hold on,
Could have been Nutini. Could have been Nutini.
Yes, it was. He was battling with Nitini at the time.
Or Drysdale? Could have been Drysdale.
No, Olsen was battling with Nitini. They were trading places left, right and centre. I was keeping half an eye on that, Sam, while you were speaking your words of wisdom. But...
oh dear, Olsen's continuing to drop.
Well, I think it's got to be terminal damage, Sam. Got to be. But crucially, welcome Salvatore Piazzese, the AM driver, to the top 10 overall, 8th at the moment in the Ferrari. High past Arvidsson, or is he? Because Arvidsson, no mug, and uses all of that Scandinavian mass and
here comes Tricoli.
strength. As Moyer's past Renault for the lead, but this is not done and dusted as these 2 trade places. Pai now drive this right at Arvidsson. It's advantage Pai, but Arvidsson's going to be on the outside if he can keep his nose right there. I don't think he can. He backs out of it, thinks twice, and now Tricoli's on their tail. And that Audi, well, you can bet your bottom dollar he'll be straight into the back of Arvidsson. But there's your new leader, Giuseppe Moyer. Florian Renault in second. And is it Fulgini? Just no, it's just sees me in the camera angle yet again, Sam. I think they're closer than what they are. No bad drafting going on there.
Oh, Arvidsson, Simmer's not liking that corner right now. And Arvidsson nearly made contact. I think he was on the back of Pai, wasn't he? And he'll be so frustrated with that, to just lost that position. And now he's completely lost touch with Pai the driver. He'd like to be more than anyone else. Arvidsson championship leader, but he sees Pai most likely as his main championship rival. And he's got a few cars between him now. He's trying to not to lose out to Will Dames, who he knows will be very tricky to overtake. If he loses out, he has lost out, and that will be very satisfying for Will Dames after a poor start for Dames. Honestly, well, he's only gained 2 places so far, Will Dames, so he hasn't had a particularly good time with it. But he is up into B7, and that is an important move made on Isaac Arvidsson from him. Piazzese still top of the Pro-Ams, and it's just this stream of cars, pretty much everyone down to 20th with that slipstream.
Yeah, Audi's running incredibly strong, Sam. It feels like they're back. As we just see Albertson. Wow, that's against Dane. No, sorry, Piazzese.
Oh, Dave's mistake.
Oh.
And he's off the track. He'll keep it out of the wall, though.
Piazzese is going to get that 8th place back, but he's got Mitchell Drysdale second in Am. Right behind, hold on, Piazzese, Arvidsson off as well, so that's 7th now. Young driver picking up places left, right and centre, but he's going to get absolutely ganged up on now. Arvidsson, Drysdale took something into his slipstream, incredibly twitchy there from Piazzese. Give Arvidsson the place back, but he might be able to tuck into his slipstream. He tries to zip in, but he can't quite, and it's being blocked. He's being pushed right now. Drysdale says, no, I want the slipstream. And the Italian, Piazzese, has to move drivers right, so drivers left even, onto the brakes. Piazzese and Drysdale side by side. Piazzese is on his home ground, it's on his home turf. He does not want to give up that 8th place whatsoever. And now we've got 5 Italians inside the top 10. It's almost like we're at Monza.
Yeah, they're representing themselves very well. These guys clearly know the circuit better than absolutely anyone else. But Piazzese, I wonder if that was maybe the percentages meant that it maybe shouldn't have gone for that move on Arvidsson. Maybe just wait behind the championship leader. But he's going for it. He's fighting absolutely everyone and wants to get as high a position as he possibly can. De Boiver in there's 32nd place. Will do well to make that corner. He hasn't. He launches over the curb. And whilst Primeshaw was unlucky at Indianapolis, that was totally expected to get that much elevation. But fortunately, in the simulated world, you do not simulate your spine, and therefore De Boiver's vertebrae are all completely intact.
Yes, Harold Tortus with Adjusants right on his heels. He's about for 13th place right now.
Not teammates, we should point out. They have very similar liveries.
It is incredibly similar. Just to make it... that is Race Anywhere's Frederick Lortz, who's... well, goes for the lunge and loses out to Zenton Adjusants. Not once, but twice. Swartz and Pagnini even both passed. Meanwhile, up in front, Arvidsson is being harassed, he's being harangued, he's being hurried along by Piazzese, Drysdale, and now Dames is right up onto the back of them. We ride on board with the Brit at the rear of this 4-car train. It's the strongest driver out of the 4 of them, based on iRacing. No, Isaac Arvidsson is our championship leader.
Arvidsson really struggling for pace, isn't he, in this race? I mean, he can't pull away from Piazzese, sorry. He was a bit under the radar, really. He was in that pack of 3 cars in race 1, so his pace may have been slightly complemented by staying in the drought, albeit maybe Piazzese's pace is being complemented by being in the drought of Arvidsson. Well, see, Piazzese looks like he's just as quick through the corners, so Arvidsson, I'm sure would just take a boring P7 at this point, but I think it's going to be an exciting P7 at the very best. Mutini's still top of the Pro-Ams. And interesting that Pi, so Pi on that last lap, 48.76. Very poor lap, he lost a second to the race leader. So Oscar Pi not making the progress we thought he would be making up the order.
No, it's got to a stage and it's almost like he stagnated a little bit, Sam.
As Piazzese's got back past Arvidsson, so.
We say about this, look who's on the attack right now. It's Oscar Pi. And this is against Renault.
Oh, there you go, fastest lap of the race.
Wow, side by side, and he's going to box in Renault here, potentially. If not, he's going to be up the inside for definite. Yes, he is, and gets it done well before the apex. Ooh, bit squirmy on the acceleration there, Oscar. Well, that's Fulgini ahead of us.
So 20, I mean, whilst Pi did set the fastest lap of the race there, it was only 0.03 of a second faster than Moya. So Moya did an excellent lap time himself. So I think Moya might have the pace here to take his first race win of the season. Or come back to form that would be, after really not doing a whole lot ever since
Well, Sam, I'm going to stop you there, because remember what happened last time out in Indianapolis when you made exactly the same comment about our race leader?
Yes.
Oh, Olsen's come off track. He's falling down through the order.
What,
That's it. He's checked out. He's retired the car. Back to the pits. Oh, Monza Scalia. He's off to the side. Was that De La Roggia?
Yeah, what it looked like it was. Oh, Vincent, here we go again.
Oh,
no, that's off the circuit, and that's the end of that battle. Piazzese got to try to make a safe rejoin here. Dames compromised, had to get out of the throttle. Well, he'll have a hefty slowdown now, will Piazzese, but I don't think he'll be debilitated quite. He might stay ahead of Lang.
I think you can see just trying to keep it in fifth, trying to burn it off as best possible. Suffering a bit of understeer almost there, Sam, I think. Time's going away. I mean, Salvatore Piazzese, he's hats off to you.
All very close to P2, sorry.
Because he's, I mean, absolutely. Ooh, well spotted, Sam, high up. I mean, he was only about, I'd say only half a second behind Filagini, but smooth done. As that's Dames trying to squeeze around the outside. Doesn't want history to repeat itself. Dames trying to get after Arvidsson. Actually, Drysdale and that Ferrari on his left, not making it comfortable for him. But look who's right behind them, still in the fight. It's Piazzese, the Italian stallion, in the Ferrari, still inside the top 10, repping it here right now for the AM. Oh, the almost losing under brakes and all pushed around and nearly getting collected up was Lang and Schwartz, who are now hot on their heels. And cars scattered all around through De La Roggia as we come through the first Lesmo. And I think Piazzese's tyres are going away from here right now, Sam. This is the replay. Oh, that's Olsen in front of us. Wow, evasive action had to take him there. And there, Galia is around, and there you go, at De La Roggia.
Well, sounds like for both of them, wasn't it, to be involved? Oh, well, hopefully we see Olsen back the next week. It's good prep from Daytona, even if he doesn't necessarily enjoy the racing, because he's had some very tough weeks. But you know, two-time AOA Formula 3 VRS Super Series champion, runner-up as well last season when he was going for 3 on the beat. I think he will be more resilient than anyone else, and if you'll see him back for future weeks. Piazzese taking a very wide line again there at Parabolic. I wonder if he's occasionally picking up a 1x, and we'll have to be looking at that 20 instant limit by the end of the half-an-hour event. By the way, Pi just going 0.4 of a second faster than Moya. We'll keep you updated with that gap, but still it's currently 3.5 seconds, so nothing too worrying. Lang, once again, driving through the order after difficulties earlier on. You wonder where Paul Lang could have been. Did he have the pace to win tonight? We did not learn, because he made contact with Mitchell Drysdale on turn 1 in race 1. And ever since then, he's just been doing exactly what he did back at Indianapolis, and that is overtake drivers.
But ahead of him is Piazzese, who's made, well, Tricoli's just got past Renault, so there's Pagini there, side by side with the Torsus. Oh, and he's round, well held by the Italian there. Only loses a couple of places in the process, but that could have gone a whole lot worse. So there is Tricoli leading these 3 Audis, 4th, 5th and 6th. Tricoli, Renault and Nacini leading AM right now. Drysdale 2nd, 3rd is Thomas Yaz, he's 13th overall in AM, bumping across the curves.
1x?
We've got 2. Well, I think it's got to be a 1x, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's definitely got to be a 1x. 2 Italians on the podium right now. We've got 3 Audis.
Ooh, Panini's going.
Ferraris. 3 Lamborghinis and 2 Porsches inside the top 10. That's variety for you. And Pagini.
I think he's crashed with Cooper.
Yeah, I think he's had a fair incident. It's not just me, Sam. I think that's got damage to it, hasn't it? It doesn't seem to be a happy car. It seems to be a bit unpredictable through the corners. I know Audis are anyway, but even by Audi standards, it's not good. We are halfway through the race. This is a replay of Pizzini's incident, and well, 2 into 1 doesn't always go, does it, Sam? I mean, it looked like they'd made it through. They'd done the hard part. That was the silly thing. And then it all goes wrong on the corner exit. Just both trying to carry as much momentum off there as possible.
I do, on the most part, like this circuit, and I think the Della Roggia is.
Didn't you call it boring earlier?
I called it boring. Check out the late Apex for more details about that coming out on Monday. As here comes Gabrielli trying to get past Collishaw. Oh, this is how you take the Della Roggia. There you go. That was nice, respectful racing. They did lose a ton of time, however. Gabrielli has manoeuvred his car brilliantly. He's up to P17. That's really nicely done. But that Della Roggia is so unique in terms of there's a big gap between the first and second apexes. And yeah, I don't think there's any other corner which is more dependent on how you feel as the inside driver, whether or not you want to give the other driver space. It's so easy to push them off the circuit and face no consequences. But at the same time, it's very possible to go alongside and have a very nice battle. So, no, really unique section of the circuit there. Fulini is dropping into the clutches of these other drivers. Dare I say to him, I think he's not going to fight this one too hard because he places the percentages, does Mattea. He thinks about the long game. Arvidsson currently down in P7. I think if it ended like this, Vinini would actually be even closer to the championship summit. So I don't think he's going to be too fussed about P3 or P4. Problem is, I guess he's got P5, P6 right behind.
Moya and Pai have been a different class of their own out in front. And there's no disrespect to Fulgini, who's no slouch himself. If you said to him, "You're going to get a podium at your home race," he would have taken that with 2 hands and fought anyone off who tried to take it away from him. It's a bit Sam. It's just got dark all of a sudden.
Well, sorry to break it to you, too. It's been getting dark for a while.
Well, yes, but
the
sun's definitely dropped below the horizon.
Yeah, this might be sunset. You might actually be onto something, to be fair.
Thank you. I'll take that as a backhanded compliment. Thank you, Sam.
No. I meant that sincerely in terms of, I think in iRacing, when it gets to sunset, it does get quite a lot darker quite quickly.
It favour, doesn't it? And that does mean now you've got headlights to contend with. Being dazzled in your mirrors. Is it going to distract you? Well, Fulgini right now is not being swayed. Wow, that's a lot of curve taken by the Audi Trico through the Ascari. That is full attack mode. That's full commitment. As we head down to Parabolica, he's set up in the slipstream. Does he go early? Does he lunge up the inside? Does he bide his time? Does he go into Rettifilio? He goes for the latter, just easing it through Parabolica. Here we go, winding it up down the start-finish straight, and this is the replay. Around he goes. Oh no, from behind, wasn't it, Sam?
I think that was a hardware failure. It seemed like the wheel just locked one way. And there was contact there, you are right. So, yeah, it could have been that, and maybe just the wheel inputs looking a bit funny. But yeah, also could have been hardware. Hopefully he gets to finish the race, at least get some points on the board. Tosiasu started in P13. Well, it's Adjinson's. He's done well, hasn't he? He's up in P13. Is Adjinson's. Considering that, I feel like I've only seen him have problems. I'm surprised that he's actually made up a fair few places.
Exactly, Sam. But that is the battle for third in Pro-Am, as that is Pagini having passed Zanon there. Daniel Zanon even. Truly Rock scored course at third in Am. So he's had a cracking race. Very, very quiet race, but just been chipping away. With great effect. Does need to be careful because Molliard is behind him, is Pro-Am, but then behind him is Goose Rankin, the Dutchman of RP Motorsport in that Ferrari. As we see, this could be interesting, this battle we were just seeing there, but this further down, it's Franken on the attack. That battle between Arvidsson and Dames, I think that could come down to the wire, and I think they could have a lot of fun with it. But Buramanas Can he get moved on? Run the outside, no, thinks about it, runs deep, elects to let that one go. Well, Enrico Mazumeki, should we say, he's been in the wars. It's not been the home race he would have hoped for. I think it's the nice way of putting it. Well, a bit like these two, who've not had the race they hoped for, but I think they're going to have a right good go at each other. And here comes Dames in the slipstream. Arvidsson knows it. I think he might just let him through here and then bide his time. He's a wily old fox, is Isaac Arvidsson.
Yeah, he's clearly faster, is Dames, isn't he? And so, may as well...
I think so. This is my hypothesis. Hear me out. Arvidsson sits behind Dames for the next, I'd say, about 9 minutes. 30 seconds left to go in the race. Boom. Sails past him. Run either to the line or the run down to turn 1.
My hypothesis is that Dames is 0.3 of a second lap quicker tonight. Arvidsson knew that he was going to be overtaken, and so he got it over and done with quick, and now will try to stay in the draft, but he's at third, falling behind. That's another mistake from Dames. So maybe he made a mistake at Ascari earlier on. He's not leaving absolutely anything on the table.
3/10 lap he's going to pull off.
No,
is it Sam at all?
Come on, prove me right, Will. Come on, do well. I'd say if he's been proving me right so far this season. It was my pick for the championship, and he has been doing very well so far. By the way, that gap out in the lead is a carbon copy of Interlagos, isn't it? Pi getting his way through the order, up into P2, 3.5 seconds off the leader, and then not being able to do anything with it. Dames was the victor at Interlagos, and another B format and another replica, because Moya is doing everything he needs to do up there in first position, and yeah, the gap isn't changing.
I mean, Moya's just not got a foot wrong. He's had that classical, led every lap, gone off into the distance. You've not heard from him, you've not seen him all race long. And that's normally one of those convincing wins, and exactly how you want them. Full. Nice and easy. Actually, he's just pulled about another second, actually. Look at him, Pi. That's jumped up to 4.3 seconds. So I think a slight mistake from Oscar Pi potentially there. But, well. No, that gap's not happening at 3 times. Wipers on,
What's
lights
with that?
on. Attack mode engaged from Arvidsson, I think. Or is it? Ooh, I tell you what. Dames keeps running a bit wide out of De La Roggia. He's pushing the limits, and I wonder whether it's this new tyre model, Sam, that's maybe just fighting the drivers back a little bit, and where they're over-driving the cars and pushing the limits and just not helping them. Well, I was going to say, that's easily through there. Definitely not at all. Bit of a concertina effect there. And the Porsche of Zanon trying to find a way through past the pair of them. Can't pick anybody's pockets. And, well, Molliard flashes the lights from Franca. Again, all my cars mixed up here. From Franca. Sorry. Zanon on Franken. It's so many ends at the ends of their names. Luckily, well, I say luckily, I'm not sure I want this race to end in some ways, because we've got 6.5 minutes left. And that's it.
Ooh, that's wide for the 3 seconds. Wow, great effort. The noise that Ferrari was making as it stormed past us was quite something. Hedgecock. There you go, that's more like it. He's around 20th place, and he's got an Italian just in front of him. Drysdale past Arvidsson. So Arvidsson, yeah, he's continued to drop down. He's trying to stay in the draft of Dames, but this battling is not going to help him in that mission. He stayed ahead of the Ferrari at least, but now he's really a sitting duck down these straights, and yeah, will be very vulnerable from behind. Paul Lang catching up to these guys very quickly. Lang could get a P8 here if he really puts together a good final few laps. Of course, those who weren't around with us earlier on, he did start in P2 for race 1, and he definitely had the pace for a race win tonight. But another quick shout out, by the way, to SDK Gaming, the providers of our overlay. It looks absolutely terrific up on screen. So much information that we can display for you. Of course, we also use the live timing and our cameras as well as commentators are synced to the broadcaster as well, who is bringing you this stream on YouTube. And so it's all a fantastic system for broadcasting, but also as a heads-up display for whilst you're racing, helps you out with strategy, which can be very useful when it comes to Daytona 24 just next week.
Also the most accurate live timing on iRacing as well. So
Exactly.
definitely what you need when it comes to Daytona 24 hours.
If you want to race in it, that is.
On board with Mitchell Drysdale, talking of all things American.
It feels like our business very slow down the straights. What do you think, Tim?
Let's have a little look at top speeds here, Sam, from utilising SDK Gaming. Well, Mitchell Drysdale, he's already kilometres an hour faster. Boom, gone, done. See you later. That Ferrari, I know it's had that reduction of torque. It's still quick out of the corners, and around the outside into turn one. Mitchell Drysdale, that's a little bit naughty, isn't it? You're not meant to do that. But that's a lovely move on someone who is no slouch whatsoever. We saw it here live on Apex Racing TV all last season in the ARL F3 series, live from the studios here at Apex Racing TV. And Arvidsson fights back again on Drysdale. They nearly make contact once more. Now who's behind them? That's Paul Lang in the Lamborghini. He wants a piece of the pie. He wants a piece of the action. And Mitchell Drysdale fighting away with the two pro drivers. Almost like he should be there right now, Sam.
Yeah, he's absolutely deserving a pro class right now, because he's definitely got that pace. Sutu has Nutini in 7th position now. That's battling with Danes, and Danes actually just being able to make that move. So Danes really coming on song late on in this race. A couple of very strong laps recently. By the way, Fulini managing to hold off Triccoli for a moment. Triccoli managed to gap into P3, but Fulini is still in that rostrum position. Drysdale tries to limit the damage to Nutini. He is past this time. Oh, and there's contact, and they're both round. Arvidsson and Lang. Lang tried to get us, and Arvidsson with a big contact with Piazzese. Top of the arms. He's having such a good run, and now he's going to try to rejoin. Now another driver makes contact. I think that was that Ellie?
Yes, maybe.
Oh, what a mess. You told us.
Salvatore Piazzese in for an epic result. And it's all fallen apart with 2.5 minutes to go. It's like Toyota at Le Mans in 2016 when they had the breakdown on the final lap. Talking of which, actually, no, I think we've got where are our leaders right now? There'll be white flag next time around for them. Giuseppe Moyer, but I am absolutely devastated for Piazzese, because what could he do? He was a sitting duck, came round Parabolica. Yes, he would have had the yellow flags, but he wouldn't have known where the car was.
Arvidsson is still going out there then, but I think he's continuing to drop places.
Right.
He's got enough of a car.
I'm wondering whether he had floor damage for Sam.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. Maybe hit a curb. How much damage is on that car? Maybe he just spun Arvidsson. I don't think he necessarily actually made much contact with anyone.
There's no obvious damage to the car, which is
splits us a bit.
But yeah, obviously there is now from that contact. But
yeah, corner's awfully tricky now for Isaac Arvidsson. No, just turn it into the wall, Isaac. No, you're going to keep it. This is the grit and determination of a champion there. Well, someone is leading the championship, desperate to cling on to every single point he possibly can. Oh, Triccoli did get past Fulini, so Triccoli's up into P3 now, Fulini down to P4. So we are going to see two Italians on the podium, but it looks like it's going to be a different combination as it stands. As Hall trying to get past Lemkins. Lemkins now leader of the outs.
Well, white flag in the air. This is final lap here from Imola in round 5, the ARL GT3 trophy. Lemkins, he must know now he's leading his class. He got to know. Surely, as much as he's having a cracking battle with your man Adam Hedgecock, around about 20th place, he's in 16th, as always.
Yeah, borderline counting that. Even I'd say, Tim, that's
yeah. Well, you're way off when he was
I'm pushing on my limits there.
Trying to give you something here, Sam. But, well, it doesn't take away from this gentleman here, the Italian Giuseppe Moya, a 3D wrap squad course. Last time, well, don't start weaving down the start-finish straight, because the last time I commentated on a 3D wrap squad Corsa car at Monza, they weaved down the start-finish straight, and they're just connected just for the finish line. But this guy's not going to. He's going to bring it home for the Italians for the home victory. Is there going to be a weave, a flash of the lights? No, this is the run up against the wall. And he is your victor here in race 2. Oscar Pai is going to come home in second place with Ciccoli, 2 Italians on the podium. And a podium for Audi with the 2 Porsches. Filogini in the end third. Dames, Renault top 6. Vinatini the win in Am 7th. Drysdale 8th. Schwartz 9th. Anderson.
I think Lang reached the instant limit. He's going to try to serve it on the last lap. I see so many drivers attempt this. It doesn't work. He's just losing himself more time. He'll get I think will be a 45-second penalty after the race.
Okay, so Lang 13th, but to be said, Jensen Anderson's 10th overall and 3rd in Am. So Pro-Am even. Lemkins takes the victory. Well, I don't think we saw that coming at all. Daniel Zanon, 20th, 3rd in, so 2nd in Am. De Roever, 22nd, 3rd in Am. That's with 2 Ferraris on the podium and a Porsche. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it, Sam, to say the least? So, things we didn't expect. Things we did expect.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to unpick that one.
Yeah, that was super close race 1 and yeah, race 2 as well. Absolutely delivering on the entertainment, particularly in those closing stages. We are going to show you a few of the highlights for the next couple of minutes, and then we'll be back in the studio to go through the interviews and the final race results tonight. See you back in a moment.
Welcome back, and well, if that was a bottle of sauce tonight, Sam, what we just witnessed, it would definitely be a ghost chili. It was so spicy from the very first mouthful right to the last drop, and it just didn't let up the whole time. And then you'd have this little break, this little micro break, just to lull you into this false sense of security. And then, bang, off we go again. Something dramatic happens that just shapes and transforms the race. And here's Eze. I love an underdog. He was punching well above his weight, but he was there on merit. And he was battling with pro-amps. He was battling with pros. And then, well, unsighted, round parabolica, and straight into the side of Arviton, I think it was in the end.
Yeah, I thought he was going to have issues actually earlier on in the race because he was battling hard with Arvidsson, and of course that nearly went very poorly for him when he went across the Ascari chicane, had to skip that chicane. And I thought at that point, well, if he keeps on racing like this, he's not going to make it to the end. Actually, he did turn it down quite a bit for the second half of the race, got involved in a few less battles, and then obviously, as you were saying, just unlucky to get involved in a crash the way that he did. Instant just ahead of him between Arvidsson and Lang, and nowhere.
That's the ironic thing. If he kept battling with them and kept pushing on, he probably wouldn't have come around that corner at that time and probably wouldn't have made the contact. It's almost the definition of irony.
It is, yeah. But hopefully those percentages will work out for him across the season. And yeah, whilst it wasn't his night tonight, he will still be very much in with a chance after a decent race one as well earlier on. And then we can go through the final race results with Giuseppe Moya, his first race win of the season too.
It is an Italian on top. In Monza, Pi second, Coley third. There's Filagini fourth. Well, Dames fifth with Renault sixth. Then we're on to our winner in Pro-Am. Andrea Nitini, another Italian inside the top 10. They really did dominate, didn't they? With Mitchell Drysdale second in class. Schwartz ninth overall, with Jensen Averson round out the top 10. And that he is third and on the podium in Pro-Am. There's Ellie Yaz, Yitzortus, Gabriele Hedgecock, Lemkens, your winner in with Pagini and Hall. You're going to round out your top 18 there. But, I mean, Lemkens, I think I would imagine he will openly admit he didn't see that win coming.
No, well,
no disrespect to him, because where he was in a normal race, it was so topsy-turvy tonight. Actually, he probably would have walked away with the win position-wise.
Yeah, I think the top AM driver back at Indianapolis last week was 28th position. So yeah, 18th place, very much deserved to get the race win tonight. But yeah, he was battling with everyone's left kids, wasn't he? I don't think he's made too many fails, because I think there was a few pro drivers where he was sort of a bit of an annoying wasp out there, where he just wasn't going away. He was constantly fighting. He was constantly just there, constantly, yeah, trying to fight the other drivers. And well, race one, I think he got involved in a couple of skirmishes, a little bit of door-to-door contact. Race two, to be fair to him, I think he actually kept it a lot more cleanly and was able to get away with that great result. So. Yeah, that AM class kind of demonstrates, I mean, like, always the biggest stories coming out from that class tonight, which demonstrates just how competitive it is all the way down the field.
Pro-Am, Mitchell Drysdale. Well, just another consistent result. It's like a machine, Mitchell Drysdale.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
consistently there, first, second, third, every single race around there.
His pace is always up there, isn't he? He's always in the top 10 when it comes to pace. And then, yeah, he's very responsible. I think we had a chat with him actually after Red Bull Ring, and he was saying how he was just happy to stay at the back of that lead train, not get involved in it. So he's got a very smart brain on him, does Mitchell Drysdale. And yeah, I think extending at that championship lead, I think Panini, of course, was second place in the championship. Pretty much the same amount of points tonight. Both of them, then, you know, really looking strong, looking more and more like it's going to be a two-horse battle between the two of them. But Tim, shall we get into a couple of interviews with some of our drivers?
Yes, let's have a bit of a chat to, well, he's your favourite. You always mention of where he finished. Adam Hedgecock. I'll let you take this one, Sam. Oh, hold on. We're having a couple of technical difficulties. We'll come to that one. Oh, no, we're all good now.
Yeah, well, what I want to ask Adam, and Adam, can you hear us all right?
I can hear you just fine, hello.
Exactly, or superbly. If I get my words out. I always say, Adam, you're around 20th position. Would you say 15th place counts as that?
I mean, sure, there'll be some complicated equation somewhere that makes it 20. So yeah, let's go with it. Let's say that I'll finish 20th.
Exactly, lovely stuff. We'll give you that amount of points in that occasion. Really just entertaining race out there for yourself. In qualifying, it didn't quite go your way. I think you were just outside the top 25 in qualifying, and race 1 as well, sort of hanging around 30th position. I mean, how did you find that Monza? How did you find Monza, and how were you able to move your way up through the order as the evening went on?
Monza's great, isn't it? Because you know that there's going to be issues at turn 1. But unfortunately, my issues started in quali. I just couldn't get a lap together, and you know me, when it rains, it pours. But no, race 1 was unfortunate. I got tagged at Ascari, and that dropped me right back. So at that point, it was just kind of pootling round on my own. Really, there wasn't too much going on. But certainly, race 2 made up for it. That was a right old laugh. That was hard work, but very enjoyable.
Yeah, for sure. When it came to overtaking around this circuit, I mean, where were the main points for yourself? Was it mainly into turn 1, or were there other places where you could get it done?
Turn 1 was definitely the place where I made the most gains, but there were some really nice people out there tonight. They just seemed to fall off the road and give me all of those extra on-track overtakes that we all like to have. But yeah, turn 1 for sure. I did. I think there was one at Parabolica. I think I scared. I can't remember who it was, but I think I scared them off the track a little bit. I showed to the inside, and they just went off wide and gave me the spot, which was nice of them.
And next up, we head to Daytona. Are you driving the Lamborghini at Daytona? Because as far as I'm aware, unless the Daytona BOP changes things a little bit, it might not necessarily be the best car, but are you staying loyal to the Lambo for the 24 hours?
No, I'm in the Ferrari. Can I have a one-off change to the Ferrari on Friday so I don't disrupt my practice, please?
Maybe if you finished 20th today, maybe you would have been allowed to, but unfortunately you didn't do that. Why have you changed to the Ferrari? What's the logic with that?
It's obviously you've got to take teammates into account. The guys have done some practice already, and have kind of said, hey, the Ferrari's the car that we'd like to go with, and I'm easygoing, you know, I'll drive anything. So yeah, Ferrari it is.
Okay, well, I would say hopefully it's good prep. It's pretty much useless next week for you at Daytona, but hopefully you have a good time anyway. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just the Altitude team, as usual, and our sponsors. Totally not going to miss anyone this time like I did last time. Freem, Sim Stickers, Finding Speed, Grumpy Dad Paints, I think he's called now. Phil Regan does our liveries. Mr. Hedge, iRacing Photography, and Sim Racing Studio. I think that's all of them.
Well done.
I think. Yes, that is. I'm looking at a picture of the car now. That is all of them.
Awesome. Well, you've won something today, undoubtedly, Adam, on that front. Best of luck in 7 days' time.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.
Well, Adam was effervescent as ever, wasn't he? And I think that's a job well done, isn't it? And good to see, you know, playing practice. I mean, it's 2 Italian manufacturers next week he's using, just different engine capacities, entry formats, and location of engine within the car. So,
yeah,
actually, no, same location, both middle.
Yeah.
You know, both. Yeah, so. Yeah, there's some similarities there anyway. Next up, next interview, we're joined by Oscar Pye. Oscar, wow. Race 1 seemed like a bit of more of a walk in the park, but race 2, wow. Sam made a reference in qualifying. When we ran this 2-race format previously, you got in the race 2, you got up to 2nd, but you just couldn't make any progress onto 3rd, and that seemed to be the same today. Do you know what was causing it? I mean, Giuseppe Moya did seem like he was on fire.
Yeah, like my race 1 and 2 was exactly the same as in Interlagos. Race 1 winning with a bit of gap, and then race 2, before the race I knew that it was gonna be difficult to start because he was very fast ahead, so pace was good, and he was starting 2nd, I think, so I was already prepared to finish second, third, or something like that, because he was obviously gonna do a big gap. And yeah, and then exactly like Interlagos, I managed to get second, and then I did too many mistakes to hope for a win. So a bit unfortunate, but I think it would have been complicated anyway.
Oh, definitely, but it might even say you did give it a good go, to say the least. Having said that, completely different format, different strategy next week, of course, being Daytona, the C format, the longer 90-minute race. Is it a bit more of a change in mentality as to how you approach that one, or is it still the full attack, full commitment Oscar Pie that we've seen all season so far, where it's all or nothing?
Yeah, I think in Daytona you will have to be more calm, and like the strategy will be important, and so I think it's gonna be interesting, because like the first hour I think it's gonna be about an hour, so you need to be at a good position, but maybe not leading, or it depends of the race incident. So I think it's gonna be interesting, but yeah, I will try not to be as aggressive as today or other races, because so far it's not amazing. I just win or crash, so except last week wasn't really a crash, but yeah, I think it's you have to be calm in Daytona to for a good result.
Now, obviously, with the change in BOP, you drive for Coanda, so you're basically tied to picking the Porsche. With this change in BOP, obviously, the reduction in torque to the Ferrari, the Audi and the Lamborghini having extra weight added, has that come to yourself as a bit of a happy bonus, a happy change, and it's allowed you to be that little bit more competitive? Or do you think, regardless of the changes, you still would have been there or thereabouts today?
Yeah, obviously it's I'm happy about it, because the Porsche had a little extra gain of power, and Audi and Lambo, which were the fastest car, obviously are now a bit slower. So yeah, I don't say no to this, but some track it's still gonna be complicated for the Porsche, I think. Here I can fight. On the other races it was really tough. Like I was 110% heavy corners, and I still wasn't always the fastest, so it was a bit I was upset about it. And I think now the BOP is quite equal for every car, so I think it's gonna be interesting.
Well, definitely look forward to seeing it. Well, congratulations, the win in the second. We'll let you go celebrate those. It's Oscar Pie. Well, Sam, I think interesting words there from Oscar. He's definitely a bit of fighting talk, and to me, almost a little bit like, just bring it on, knock up, build them all up. I will knock them down.
Yeah, he's honestly my favourite for the championship as it stands. Oscar, he's just been, when he's in form and when he's confident, he seems to be almost unbeatable out there. And because we need to remember, he is ever so young still, so he's probably still improving as well.
That's the frightening part.
Yeah, not like us. Well, not like us, not like you, Tim.
No, I won't even come against you on that one. You're spot on. It's what happens with your old age.
We have got Peter Lempkins, who joins us in the commentary or in the interview now. Yeah. I suddenly realised that we can't say that he's joined us in the commentary box because everyone can see us. But Peter, congratulations on a brilliant race 2 result. How was it from your perspective?
Yeah, got quite surprised, but I'm obviously very happy with the result. I think as I didn't have a pace, but I start somewhere in the middle of the pack, and I said to myself, just survive, and yeah, got a bit lucky. So.
Well, survival is a very good mindset out there. We saw your race 1 was very entertaining. We saw a lot of you on the broadcast actually, because it seemed like you're constantly fighting, and not with necessarily the same drivers over and over again. It seemed like you were fighting pretty much everywhere from about 20th down to 30th. I mean, that must have been a very draining 25-minute race.
Yeah, first of all, that's what's racing is for me. I like it if I have a battle, but I also thought I was a bit faster once I was in my rhythm. So I wanted to overtake them, because I think I could get a little bit more pace out of there.
Yeah, certainly makes sense. Yeah, you did seem to be kind of moving your way through the order. And, you know, judging by these first few rounds of the championship, I mean, how would you assess your season so far? And do you think you have the potential to fight for the amateur championship this season?
Well, I believe I missed the first race. So I did 2 races now, like previous week and now Monza. And I hope if I don't have too much work in that I can race every week. I think the motivation and I think I will be able to get up a challenge to get like top 3. I think it's possible.
Well, we certainly wish you the best of luck for that one, Peter. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I like to thank my teammates, RP Motorsports, and I also like to thank Jeremy de Bover, who made the setup for the car, and obviously you guys for broadcasting this event.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the kind words, Peter, and yeah, best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Well, interesting. I mean, like I said, it was a nice surprise, but obviously to take that victory in race 2. But you've got to be there to take those opportunities when they arise to you. And if you hadn't have kept pushing, and you know, like we said just before the interviews, in a position that normally would have easily given him the AM class win, but he was there. Salvatore, I'm still gutted for Salvatore Piazzese. I'm going to have to go sit in a quiet, dark room, maybe shout a bit, and I feel for him. I thought it was underdog spirit. He was right up there, fighting with the pros. Maybe even might have got inside the top 10, and then it just all crumbled around him, like my heart for Salvatore.
Yeah, maybe you need to start a fan club.
I think yes.
I mean, I've started a few fan clubs as a commentator in the past. But yeah, I mean, as you say, Lemkins, they definitely deserve that position. And of course, like, you know, we pay a lot of attention to who won in the class, but it is your overall position which gets you the points. So still, if you're Lemkins, you know, it's much better finishing in 18th place than it is 25th position, even if it's top of the AM driver.
Well, it's all the more
still
gutting
gets rewarded.
for
exactly,
Piazzese,
yeah, that's what,
because it would have
30 points down the drain,
yeah,
maybe even more than that. So yeah, that's
like I said, if
really
he just kept, no, I'm going
to
move on.
Psychologist.
Yeah, I think so. We're already on the sofa, Sam. So that's a good point to end the show. Thank you so much for joining us. What a round it has been from round 5 of the Apex Racing League GT3 trophy. We had drama, excitement, twists, turns. It was like we'd never been away for a week, really. But well, of course, with the Daytona 24 hours on iRacing coming up, what better place to visit next week? Of course, it's Daytona. From myself, Tim Cox, and Sam Fitzpatrick, thanks very much for joining us. We'll see you in a week's time, live from America, here in the studios. We're going to leave you some highlights of the race. Thanks very much. Good night.